Hi, this is Sunny Lowe from Blue Jean Networks, and welcome to our video blog today. We're going to work today on changing the memory in your Apple MacBook. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I'm a Microsoft guy, and I love Microsoft products, and I work with them all the day. But Apple products are great too, and we need to use Apple products a lot of time. In fact, my personal laptop is an Apple, and I run Windows so many times on my Mac. So today we're going to upgrade a Mac 15.4 MacBook Pro from 2 gigs to 4 gigs, and by the end of this video you'll know how to do this. Okay, here I've got my Mac. It's booted into OS X and we're getting ready to do the thing. Now the first thing you want to do, because you're going to be removing the battery, is shut down the system. Go to the Apple menu and shut down the system. This will take it a few seconds, but go ahead and shut down, because if you do this without shutting down, you're really going to give yourself a problem. Once you're shut down, close your lid, flip your computer over, and there are 2 little slide buttons right here on the edge. Pop those slide buttons and the battery comes right out. Now, to do this, you're going to need some fancy screwdrivers, and I've got to put on my glasses to even read these, but these are triple-aught and quadruple-aught screwdrivers, 000 and 0000 Phillips head screwdrivers that I picked up at Sears. You'll want to get a good quality because these screws are very easy to strip out. Once you begin removing them, the last part of the screw has Loctite on it, and you're going to have to pack it on beyond there. So we've got a screw here, a screw here, and a screw here, and we're going to start by removing those screws right now. Get it in there, make sure your screwdriver is set real well, little pressure, and pull that puppy out. Again, the second screw, get in there, get a little pressure, back that screw out. Third screw, we're going to back that screw out, and we've got one more little tool that we use a lot, little pair of tweezers that we use to get in here and pick up some of these little screws that we haven't done before. Set your screws aside, and always line your screws up so they line up with your holes, so you put the same screw back in the same hole when you go back. And this time they all look pretty much the same. I don't think we're going to have a problem, but you never know. We lift up this cover here and it just slides up gently, and right beneath it you can see our MEM modules. Now these are 2 1 gig MEM modules, which are called SODIMMs, S-O-D-I-M-M-S, and these small form factor DIMMs slide into the thing in 2 levels. We've got to take the top one out to get to the bottom one out. Now there are little tiny places on the inside, right here and right here, that when you pull them apart will loosen the memory modules. So we pull the memory modules up and it pops up when it's loose, and we pull it out. Now if you'll notice, there are slots on the memory module. That slot aligns it with the inside of the computer. The wrong kind of memory module will not go in that computer. Now I want you to also note that I am not taking my hand off of the computer once I begin doing this process. The reason for that is memory modules are very sensitive to static electricity. If you can feel the static electricity, it's estimated to be 10,000 times more electricity than it would take to damage the module. I set the module down on my computer case, and if you've got an anti-static mat or an anti-static strap, this is the time to use it. We'll go ahead and we'll remove the bottom memory module now the same way. Slide the little things out of the way, and the memory module will pop up, and once it pops up, it can be lifted out completely. Set that on the computer again. Now we have these 2 memory modules. These are not Apple. If you go to the store and buy Apple modules, these modules would cost you about $100 a piece, but I got them online from Crucial. Crucial makes memory for these guys, and my total Mac memory upgrade is only going to cost me about $50. So we could save a tremendous amount of money by buying the memory online. I'm continuing to touch my computer case, and as I go down this way, just to make sure that I don't get any static electricity, because what I want is the potential of static in the chip to be the same as the potential of static in my hand. I pull the chip out, set it down, and align the slot on the bottom unit and press in and snap into place with those 2 clips. Same thing on the other piece. Take it apart. Flip it up. Get my static potential the same. Usually these packages will conduct static electricity, and you'd think that would be bad, but the reason they do that is so that they don't build up a lot of static electricity. Take the memory chip out. Don't touch the gold part. Slide it into the memory slot very firmly. Snap into place. Our memory is now in place. Now you would think at this point that it would be really smart to reboot the computer, but we're not going to, close up the computer, but we're not going to do that, because one thing you always remember in computer repairs is never shut the case until your repairs are completely done. We take our old memory modules and we put them back in the same memory case the new ones came in. That protects them. And we take our screws, kind of set them on the table there, and we'll go ahead and put that battery right back into place, even though the other parts are not there yet. Flip it over, and let's see if it recognizes our RAM. That'll tell us if we've seated it correctly. The computer is booting, and we didn't get any beeps or switches or anything like that, but it's bound to tell us when it comes up that it's got the wrong kind of memory that it's expecting. Now I held the option key down because I've got two different boot partitions on my PC, one for Windows and one for Mac, and when you hold the option key down it'll give you an option on which one to boot, and this time I wanted to boot into my Mac. It's thinking and doing its memory check. Coming up into Windows, or actually into Mac OS. Everything's moving a little bit faster this time because we have a little bit more memory. And if we go to the system settings up on the Apple menu and go to About This Mac, we can now see that there's memory 4 gigabytes of SODIMMs. Do a little bit more in the system profiler, and we can see right there 4 gigs of memory available. So we'll go ahead and shut the Mac down again. You have to shut it down because you're going to take that battery out again. Does a nice clean shutdown. Computer's completely off. Shut the case, flip it over, and we've got to pop that battery out again. And take our case. It's got little ridges on the front. We slide those into place, push down, and our screw holes should line up beautifully. I take our nice little double-aught screwdriver, triple-aught screwdriver again, and slide it over here. Now you want to be real careful at this point, because if you're not careful you will end up with screws that end up down inside the computer. So you want to be very careful how you do this. Very gently, don't tighten them down yet, just gently put them into place and do what I just did, and don't lose the screws. Well, you also get an example today of how to find a screw that you dropped into a computer. We'll take the third one on first. Tighten it up a little bit. And we got a little bit of threads on both sides. Now we got to get that other screw out of there that bounced in there. Generally. There it is. Jumped over out of place. Tighten the screws down gently. There's no need to over tighten them. It's not like you've got a ton of vibration in a MacBook that's going to shake it apart. Battery back in. Flip it over. Boot it up. Hold the option key down again to get into my Windows instead of my, into my Mac OS X instead of into my Windows operating system. And we're up and running with 4 gigs of RAM. Once again, that's really all there is to do it. In almost any laptop, all you have to do is shut the system down, flip it over, remove 2 or 3 screws, you'll see the memory modules, take the pins aside, lift out the memory modules, put the new memory modules in, and come up. You may have one other step in many PC notebooks, which is to go into the system BIOS and tell it that it's got new RAM. But generally there's nothing you have to do. You just have to get into the system BIOS, then save it and exit, and it should be fine. Once again, that's all there is to putting a memory into a MacBook Pro. Hope this helped. Once again, this is Sunny Lowe from Blue Jean Networks, hoping that we can help you with your computer problems someday.